Kings and queens, what's happening? I hope you're well. Thank you for tuning in to the channel. If you're here for the first time, I would really love it if you would consider subscribing. We're here to talk about questions that take your relationship to the next level. I think most of us, many of us, have all been there where you're building this relationship, you haven't kind of introduced them to your people. They heard about your boo thing, they heard about your love, and you're like, do I introduce them? Do I wait? It's a holiday event. Do I take them? My birthday is coming up. Do I take them on the trip with me? Do I get them a gift for their birthday? How big do I get the gift? Anyway, this is questions that can help you take your relationship to the next level if you have not identified those things. Let's get into it. Question number one, do you have my back no matter what? It is a huge deal when a person has your back and they can be there for you no matter what. It's called unconditional love, and no matter what we say, we all have conditions. What we have to do is get to learn the person and know what level of conditions they have. I believe ultimately you get to unconditional, but when you're feeling a person out, I mean, you're not gonna go all in with the person that you just met for 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe even 2 or 3 months. This is a comfort level that each person has to have in order to know their level of giving. Some people don't know how to be there no matter what because some people are always fair weather. Is there a test that you can give someone to say, will you have my back no matter what? No, there's not. Being able to know if a person has your back no matter what comes with time. It comes with trials, it comes with tribulations. And on top of that, some people don't give it enough time to even know if a person has their back or not because we like to talk about red flags, right? Red flags, some people consider anything a red flag, and some things are just knowing that you need to be there for a person. Number two, what do you consider cheating? That is a big one. Do you start this out probably with the first question? No, but you're gonna get to talk to a person and understand that commitment means a lot. Commitment issues are a problem for some people. So what is your barrier? You do know that withholding the truth is the same as a lie, right? Honestly, I think everyone withholds truth. You can't do this when it's detrimental to your partner. You should be as transparent, as open, as willing to give as you should be. I would also say that should be a mutual thing. Never withhold from those that need to know, and when it's not life-threatening for you to share. Now, oversharing, is that a thing? Probably. But I think when you're really trying to build something and really trying to go somewhere in a relationship, I think oversharing may be better than undersharing. So when it comes to what do you consider cheating, you want to know if this person considers, okay, going to hang out with a person of the opposite sex, especially when you don't know who they are, right? If you introduce them or they know who the other person is and you've been knowing them for a while, naturally those relationships are gonna come together, and you should know people on his side of the opposite sex. He should know people on your side that you've built relationships with people of the opposite sex, people that are friends. You consider it cheating when a person is having these conversations with people that are non-professional, that are definitely in the area of flirtation and sometimes even, you know, sexual advances, right? Yeah, that's cheating. So again, are you gonna take this person that you just met or that you're trying to build with? So with the person that you're just getting to know, are you gonna approach this person and be so in their face, in their business, in their affairs that you start antagonizing them and just questioning everything that they do from the start? I'm not saying that, and I don't think you should do that. All I'm saying is that this is a question that you should at least bring up to have a conversation. What's cheating for some isn't cheating for others. I mean, you would think it would be, but it's not, right? Some people think having an affair is cheating. Some people think having an affair is not cheating. I don't know what world they live in, but some people think that. Some people think being able to have a relationship with a person of the opposite sex and the other person don't know about it, they consider that cheating, right? Some people consider being able to DM people on Instagram or other social media is cheating. Or I think the fear of that, or things that can cause cheating to happen, right? I think there are definitely walls and activities and practices that you can put in place to keep that at bay and to try and avoid that as much as possible. All right, next question. How much honesty do you really believe is actually needed in a relationship? A lot. Right? I mean, how else would you want it? Would you want a little honesty, or would you want a lot of honesty? Because that's what your trust is going to be built on, right? And again, I think this is something that you do and you pay attention to, and you definitely ask the question. But being able to know that the truth for little things matter and the truth for big things matter, and if the little things can't be truthfully approached or truthfully discussed, then what about the big things? How much trust do you believe is actually needed in a relationship? I don't think a whole lot has to be said on that. I think truth comes from trust, and that all develops into your ability to have a trustworthy partner, a trustworthy relationship, and you're able to advance without having the suspicion of, is this person doing this, or is this person, who they even say that they are, right? Because some people have such a high level of habitual lying and habitual wrongdoing that it is a part of who they are. And if you notice this and you know that that's just how this person is, don't think that you're going to change them when they step into your presence, right? You're not all that powerful, right? You can't change a person. How do you think you've changed over the past few years? Now, as we all age and progress in life, whether we're single or joined or married, you should always be changing and evolving. What this question is about is showing growth and progression from the other person. The worst thing that you can do is to be with the person when you are progressive in a relationship and the other person is stagnant. You know why? Because even if you're there and you are highly attracted to each other and the physical is there, it's something about being able to be involved with each other. It's something about being able to consistently grow and consistently be better at what it is that you're doing. If two people are progressing and two people are consistently looking at how can I be better? How can I be better for myself, for my life, for my career, for my partner? Then those things you want to see in your mate. This question is going to unfold that by the person showing, or at least giving you insight to how they have grown and things that they've done to increase their self-awareness, their education, because I believe that this should always be a lifelong journey for all of us. And the last thing that you need is a stale relationship. It reminds me of people that, you got one person that works out and one person that just sits on the couch and watch TV all day. Guarantee you it's not gonna last. What do you want out of this relationship, right? Reminds me of Big Worm on Friday. Boy, what the funk you want? You're in this relationship, you want something out of it besides the cuddling and the sex and going on trips, right? You're there for a reason. You want something, you want companionship for one, but what do you really, really want out of this? Because if you don't know what a person wants and you're there, you're trying to figure it out and you're just there and you're just kicking it, it's just cool. Like, where are you going? You wake up 5 years later and you're like, oh my gosh, I wasted 5 years of my life and I still don't have the ring. I still don't have kids, right? You need to identify that up front. What do you want out of this relationship? You ask that person that, and know what you want too. Don't be asking the person what do they want out of the relationship when you don't even know what you want out of the relationship. So maybe you back it up and you get your sense of clarity. You sit down and you say, what do I want? And then you manifest this to say, this is what I want, this is what I'm giving, and what I give, I'm gonna attract. How do you deal with difficult situations? Now, I believe that we're all guilty of loving the good times, right? It's nice when it's all good and things are happy and everyone's smiling and money's in the bank. But like, what about when money's not in the bank and things get tough and the car breaks down and you get, you know, fired or laid off of your job, or you just having a bad day, right? Or you were just misunderstood, or you misunderstood somebody. My point is that be willing not only to ask the question, but to deal with difficult situations. You know, get into a complicated situation just to see how that other person acts. I think you should be grateful for that. You be like, he tripping, she tripping. No, you know what? You need to embrace that. Embrace that, because if you're just getting into this, you've got insight. You've got priceless insight to how that person is gonna act, how that person is going to respond, how that person deals with difficult times. And it gives you a glimpse of possibly what you will have to deal with for the rest of your life. So if it was a difficult situation and the person just kind of embraced it and handled it with all the grace in the world, you're like, you know what? She's a keeper. Well, man, that dude handled that. So that's something that you need to know. How do you deal with difficult situations? Ask that person that. And you should be able to know as well, if you've been around them for any amount of time, if this is a fluff response or if this is a true and authentic response. I think this is a no-brainer as well. You want to ask, why didn't your last relationship work out? You would typically know this at some point, but again, you'll be surprised how many people, they go along and the relationship is developing and it's a simple question that was never asked. And probably because more attention was given to other topics or other areas over this. But what if, you know, you ask somebody why didn't their last relationship work out, and they'd be like, you know, I don't like to take showers. I just don't. I like to take showers like every week. Or I'm just junky. I don't like putting my stuff away. I like leaving my socks and underwear on the floor. Or I'm just lazy and I don't like to work. Two things I cannot stand: a lazy man and a smelly woman. That just will not cut it. So find out, or just, you know, approach the conversation, the area of why their last relationship didn't work out, because that could be something that could save you a lot of time, right? She probably said, I don't like to cook, or, you know, I like to be catered, I like to be pampered. All right, so if you like to be catered to, go ahead, cater to yourself. How did you deal with your feelings and emotions growing up? This is huge, right? Because family dynamics have a lot to do with how we are in relationships, present day and the future. Especially if you didn't get the right kind of, you know, therapy, right? We throw therapy around. Therapy is great, right? I mean, it's been hugely beneficial in my life. But what I'm saying is, not everyone has access, and also not everyone has or have had the ability to have access to therapy. So you want to find out how people, you know, dealt with those things when they were smaller. There are people that have had issues with their siblings, issues with their parents. I mean, there's a lot of, you know, daddy-daughter issues, dad not being there. There's a lot of mother-son issues of the mom, you know, mistreating the son, or mother-daughter. All I'm saying is family dynamics are hugely impactful on the way that we see the world, and especially on the way that we see relationships. Sometimes those things are so deeply embedded. I know people, grown people today, right? I mean, they don't walk around like in hatred, but the things that were done, or the lack of support, or, you know, the words that were used and put towards them, they affected them deeply, and they are still memorable to that point when you think of your parents, when you think of those emotions and those feelings. It's something that affects you, is all I'm saying. And I think it's an important question to ask, you know, how a person dealt with the feelings and emotions when they were growing up. You know, did they process them? Did they have those discussions, or did they just bottle them up and they all came out as an adult? What do you personally think of your friends' relationships? Now, you're probably gonna say, well, they're my friends and I love their relationship. Look, everyone judges, right? You probably got the friend that's got, you know, you're like, how did they get together? But hey, love is love. Love is truly blind, right? When you also look at your friends' relationships, right? I think it kind of points to the quote of birds of a feather flock together, or you are an average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. That's true for the most part. And if you are around, you know, people that are in relationships and they are loving and they're caring and they are, you know, they love to do getaways and have family gatherings and people over. Those things are very fun to do. They build bonds, they build great memories. And or if you have, you know, friends, you ask this person, or if you ask this person about their friends and their friends are, yeah, let's say clubbers, right? I'm not a clubber, but if you ask this person about, you know, what are their friends doing? They're like, oh yeah, they go clubbing every night, or, you know, whatever it is that they do, then you kind of get a sense of how that person is going to be. Rarely is a person going to have friends in a relationship that are one way and they are polar opposites, right? It subtly gives you insight to the person's life without them even exposing it. But when you choose poorly, you begin to go through a process. You transition, you learn, you become aware. It makes you a lot more careful, a lot more selective, and sometimes it can be scary. And what do you value most about our relationship? Now, if this is, I think at this point, again, we're talking about the questions that you are asking before you take the relationship to the next level, then there should be quite a few things that you value about the relationship. If you ask this question and the person is, I mean, I like you a lot, you're pretty, I really like the way you wear your heels, I like, you got a nice car, I like the way you look, I like your watch a lot, and I like the way you dress. Girl, you know I like you. I mean, what you mean? What you mean? What do I value most about you? Or she says, quit playing. You know I like you. I mean, I kissed you and we did it, and you know I like you. No, anything topical, superficial, and materialistic, just watch out for those things, because what the person values you for and what they value about you should be something that money cannot buy. Do you feel that we make each other better people? I would hope so, right? I believe in a relationship that there is not one single area that your partner should not benefit you in. You should be in better shape, you should be a better thinker, you should be a better cook, you should be a better dresser if that's a part of it. You should be able to have your entire life be an increase by the person that's in your life. And if that is not the case, then you probably chose poorly, right? It is imperative that you choose better and that you choose great from the start. Now, you don't always know what you're choosing. That's why we get in these situations called ending relationships and called divorce, right? Because you chose poorly. But when you choose poorly, you begin to go through a process. You transition, you learn, you become aware. I mean, making each other better people. I would love, absolutely love to, you know, I love it when I'm reminded of things that I forget about or things that I've forgotten about. It's the whole thing about 2 heads are better than 1, 4 eyes are better than 2, and I believe that this should be all around. Well, that's it for this video. I hope that you found something helpful, something resourceful here. If you did find this video helpful or resourceful, do me a favor, share it. Do me another favor, like it. And if you love the content, be sure to consider subscribing. Until next time, this is Prime. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your relationship. Look your best. Do your best. Be your best.